Hello everyone, welcome back once again to the Union Pacific Railroad Evanston Subdivision in HO scale. My name is Daryl Kruse, owner, operator, and builder of the layout, and your host for episode 30 of season 2022. This episode features the Westvaco control point, which expands across the peninsula area from the upper level, from the Peru and Green River direction going westward towards the Westvaco Trona plant and mine. So we got the benchwork in for the control point that spans. Did a lot of work on the backdrop, which you'll see in just a little bit. Got the turnouts in, and things are progressing pretty good. First thing I did was a major accomplishment. I got the backdrops to be perfectly aligned. And this is how it was. I had the backdrop in the foreground there done, but the one on the other side was too high, so I had to lower it so that they would be pretty much the same level. I want to be able to see across the peninsula there and see the upper level go across the peninsula, and I think I accomplished it quite a bit. Now it shows there a 1/4% incline there, but after I got in the rest of the braces, it came out to be pretty much a completely level section of the layout. Here you see what it looks like on the other side, and just how much the upper level infringes on the lower level, and it actually isn't too bad. It comes pretty close. There's only maybe 3 or 4 inches between, probably closer to 3 inches between the upper level and the mountains there and the scenery, but it's such a narrow, it's only 10 inches wide. Most of the mountain is open, so I don't think it's going to detract at all from the scenery going through here. Now at this point here it's going to widen, because this is going to be going westward from this point. The next section of benchwork is going to widen to 2 feet. And then that's out to about here. Not the whole length of the lower level or whole width of the lower level, but it'll come out 2 feet, which is about 5 inches shy of what the length of the lower level is. And that's where the Westvaco Trona mine and plant is going to be, where there'll be some major operations being done. Now, I did have to remove the backdrop there. I lowered that backdrop also, so that it'll fit underneath. I mainly just cut it, but that will fit underneath the upper level as it goes across there. So putting in the benchwork and lowering the backdrop turned out pretty well. I was very, very happy. This was the last complicated part of building a benchwork. So I'm pretty excited about how things went. It's a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Next step after getting everything in place with the benchwork and the backdrops was putting the roadbed down. And I used the blue chalk line again to make sure everything was perfectly straight. So this is 10 inches wide, and each mainline center is 4 inches from the edge. Now this is what it looks like in between the little access area there at the base of the peninsula. Here you see some of the Digitrax components and some wiring and so forth. It's kind of messy. I actually cleaned up a little bit after this video was taken. But it does give me some access. There's going to be 4 turnouts here, and turnout motors and signals and so forth, so I needed to have it be a place where I'll be able to have access to it. So again, I was very happy with how it all turned out. Visual, this is at my eye level. This is up a little bit. So right here is my eye level. Now I'm standing on a 9-inch stool. So if operators wanted to be able to see across, they can, if they want to be able to see all the way. So I'm going to have a couple of step stools available at this location if people want to stand up and watch the trains come in at that height. They'll be very helpful for those who are not as tall as I am, and for those who are my height, that works out pretty good too. Now, some people were asking what it looks like with me accessing some of these areas. So here I am working on laying some track on the benchwork from the peninsula. Now, where I'm working right now really isn't too bad, but then I had some areas there, you see, we're quite a ways away. And I was trying to straighten out the track here, make sure it was aligned correctly. And I found out that it had gotten glued down some way. So I had to do quite a reach. Now, it doesn't really look that far, but it felt a lot further from where I was when I was actually doing it. I was like, man, this is a long reach. But it doesn't look that bad from the video here. The hardest part was getting the rail joiners to connect with the track at the furthest reach. I was able to do it though. I skipped quite a bit of the work. I didn't, I spent probably 20 minutes or so filming this. Obviously, I'm not going to include the whole thing. It's a little redundant to see it, but I wanted to show one thing right here. Here I'm standing on the ground, and I'm freezing it here for a second so you can see my eye level. My eye level is right at the height of the backdrop, so that works out pretty good. All right, here we see some video of the turnouts going in. I had only 3 turnouts left. I built a bunch of these fast tracks turnouts while we were waiting for our house to be completed. And I was down to only 3 number 10 turnouts, so I had to build one more right-hand turnout. So I have 4 of them here. So I actually built the fast track turnout from for this outside, brought it downstairs, and tried to put it in, and found out that I had actually built a left-hand turnout. So I had to go back and build another one, and I built that one. I came back and I had done another left-handed one. So I did 2 left-hand ones, wanting to do a right-hand one. Here's the wiring. I'll staple a lot of that to the top a little bit, but it won't be visible from the operating section. Here you get a good viewpoint of where I am in the layout in this little access area. There's 3 total access areas, actually 3.5. There's one that I can just stand up in but not move much. I did get a right-hand turnout, by the way, on the 3rd try, finally. I did not get the turnout motors in and the signals in. I was hoping to get all that done this week. Didn't really get as much time on the layout as I had hoped. So this is as far as I got. And this is the first run through by the trains waiting to head westward through the control point. Not able to really test the crossovers yet. There's not much trackage on the other side of this control point. But here you can see my most recent locomotive acquisition going across with a Canadian National unit. And everything's pretty smooth. This turnout that they're going over right now, I had to do some filing of the frog point. And you'll see in just a bit here as it backs up Can't really tell on the Canadian National unit, but watch the Katy trucks as they go over the point. And you can see it's a little bit of a jump up. Right there. And there. So a little bit of a jump up there. So I took my file and filed it down a little bit, smoothed it out, and back to perfect. I highly recommend the Fast Tracks turnouts. I do have Walther's crossover turnouts, the 4 number 6 crossovers, and then they cross in the middle. It's a double crossover in one turnout thing. And anyway, that's my only commercial turnouts, and I have to say, it was a pretty expensive turnout, and they're nowhere near as nice as these Fast Track turnouts. As far as having the trucks and go over smoothly without any derailments. I've had much more derailment issues, and even the unsoldering of the points. I've had to resolder a couple times on the points onto the throw bar. So definitely recommend Fast Tracks. Avoid commercial. This is Intermountain Tier 4 Gevo, a pair of them going across. 2 of these were able to pull 37 cars up the Helix. Did a lot of testing of the Helix this last week. Kind of took out some time away from doing the control point here. But goes pretty smoothly over both of these. Pretty happy with the way things turned out. I did some testing because testing the couplers and making sure there were no unevenness of the track going up. I was able to find a couple of problem areas I was able to fix on the Helix. I want to make sure the Helix operates flawlessly. It's getting close. And just have a few things yet to do. Here's what it looks like from the other side. So how this is going to work while we're operating, because when you go from one side of the peninsula to the other, you have to walk all the way around the peninsula. So we'll probably have it set so that your trains will always have to stop at this control point. So you'll always get a red here. And then once you stop at the control point, then you'll walk around the peninsula, get to the other side. And I think I'm going to have a button to push on both sides of the peninsula indicating that you are at that location. And then the dispatcher, once he knows you're on the other side of the peninsula, he will then give you a green signal and you'll be able to go across the control point. Don't want anybody to kind of just cheat in any way and kind of run the trains from the end of the peninsula. But that actually would be very hard to do. It's such a long peninsula. So I don't think that will really be a problem. Then again, I don't want them to just run the trains and hope that they get to the other side before their train gets there. I want to make sure that when they're operating their trains that they're close to the trains. So, well, we'll figure something out about that. There are 2 times when the operators have to walk to the other side. One is right here. They have to walk around the peninsula to get to where their trains are going. And the other one is when it goes from the Evanston yard to the second level on the other side of the stairs. That's not quite as long as the walk as here, but works out pretty good. So this is what I have accomplished so far this week. Hopefully you get the rest of the control point done this next week as far as signaling and everything. Thanks so much for watching, and everybody have a great week. Take care.